So Jimmie, let me ask you a quick question here. You're in Los Angeles, is that right?
Yes,
And you've been licensed for how long?
4 years.
4 years. But you're kind of getting started as a realtor.
Yeah, just getting back into it, being a pastor. I've been really busy being a pastor, but I want to get back into our real estate.
And the goal as of last week was get introduced to probate attorneys. And we started this call. You got a judge, is that right?
Yes, I decided after our call not to wait to do anything. I decided to start making calls to see who I know, to see what's my sphere looked like, what was out there, and was able to find out that I'm connected to a judge here in Los
So
Angeles.
you sifted your CRM and you found a golden goose.
Sure did.
And the goal is to get always, find a vendor to introduce you to the golden goose, but you already knew one. And so so you reached out to her and she said that she'll get you a meeting with whom?
She said that she would get me a meeting number one with her to go over what we want to do. Uh, she helps a lot in the community. She's really big with the community.
The
So
judge.
she's very interested in working with me, not just doing an introduction, but also she is going to introduce me to the northern and the southern probate attorneys here in California.
So so this part of the conversation is, as we're talking about, introduce means what? And is it going to be in person or is it going to be on the phone or is it just an email introduction? So, because there's about four ways to do this, and then we'll kind of get back to the meat of this thing for you, Jimmie. But the the introduction, if somebody says, "I'll send an email for you," that probably won't get you a meeting. And or I'll call them and I'll let you know how it goes. All right. Now, you want to be on the call if they're going to do it that way. And but if they say, I'll just text them for you, it probably won't go anywhere. We want a high yield outcome. The highest yield outcome is in person if they'll take the meeting. And if you get the judge to take the meeting, meet a cafe, meet at a restaurant, meet at somebody's work, you actually have to screw it up to lose this account. If you got a judge or any kind of introducer physically going with you, like when I went to Enterprise Rent a Car, I had somebody go with me so the relocation director would take the meeting. When we got BJC hospitals, these are big accounts, not just probate accounts. We're talking Fortune 500 accounts. How do you get some of these businesses? Somebody's got to go with you physically. Now, the backup plan, it's on Zoom. And if and you have to start looking at then what your background is. Should your background be the room you're sitting in, or should you get a AI background like I'm sitting in? If you're on a Zoom, it's going to be, what are you wearing? Where's the dog? Where are the kids? We can't be interrupted. You can't have the dog barking. You got to pre-plan these things. I've been on too many Zoom calls where the realtor said, the dog's barking, their cat jumps in front of the camera. And it's like, this account, sometimes you need one account. I mean, you could, of Enterprise Rent a Car, you could have made a living on just that account and nothing else. That's how valuable a single introduction is worth. So if it's over Zoom, do you have a suit coat on? What are you wearing? What's your background look like? Where's the cat? Where's the dog? Or what have you? Let's do this uninterrupted. And then, so that's plan B is Zoom. Plan A is in person. So you were saying before we started recording this, you were saying that you could ask her, the judge,
I
to,
can ask her about doing it in person.
yeah. Um, and
The
she's,
good thing is that she's connected to the church. So um, she's going to see me as, not just a realtor, but she's going to see me as the pastor of the church. So she'll probably most likely accept the in-person meeting.
And for the judge, you know, how do I put this? I think I told you I'm studying the book of Titus from Titus 10.
Mhm.
And there's something called your IAP, your identity. You are a relationship rainmaker. You're not a realtor. That comes second. Agents go in these things and they go, I want to get something out of this. I want to get referrals. That's like going on a first date saying, I want to get married. That's why I'm taking this date. No, want a relationship with somebody. You want to do some fun things in life. When somebody shows up and says, I want to get married on the first date, that's like a realtor taking these appointments and going, I want a listing. That's not why we're there. We're there to give. We're not to receive. And so first, we're a relationship rainmaker, which means what? What does a probate attorney want in their business? Leads. But you don't know anybody who died, so you can't give them that. But you know somebody that you could introduce them to, because everybody wants a golden goose. So the realtor's job, the relationship rainmaker, is, well, who do you think a probate attorney would want to be introduced to? A CPA, because their clients die. A CPA is a great referral for a probate attorney. So is a financial planner, because their clients die. They have 1,000 clients. There's probably a few referrals per month because people die. Especially if you have a CPA or a financial planner, you're probably older. I mean, you could be young, but so what's a great introduction? How about an estate planner, a trust attorney? The probate attorney is what is called, like you're the pastor of a church. You're an influential advisor. Somebody comes to you and says, who would you use for a CPA, Jimmie? And you go, you know what? This guy and this guy, these are the two names we really refer business to. And then somebody says, my grandmother died. And you go, well, I know a probate attorney. Why? Because as the pastor, you're an influential advisor. Well, that's what a CPA is when their clients die, is an influential advisor. A divorce attorney says they have to get the house appraised. Well, who can the probate attorney refer? Because the family goes, well, who would you give us? Because he's an influential advisor. Not the church I went to last, but the one before that. I probably did 20 deals a year because people would ask the pastor, who would you call? He said, I'll call Bryan. You know, Bryan will call you, because some pastors are very influential with the flock when somebody has a house to sell. So our job as realtors, our identity is relationship rainmaker, number one. And two, our assignment is to activate all these people that are influential advisors and introducers. Who's an introducer? An appraiser can introduce you to a probate attorney. Why? Because they do business with a probate attorney. A notary, a paralegal, anybody that does business with the Golden Goose is our introducer. You want retirement homes? Find food services companies that service retirement homes. Every day they bring fresh food out to the retirement home. They're not shopping at the grocery store, retirement homes. A vendor's bringing it to them. They probably don't have their own staff for cleaning, the linen, stuff like that. They ship it out. And they've got a firm that comes out there every day, gets all the stuff out of the dining room and brings fresh stuff in. It's always get the vendor that has the relationship. It isn't go after the Golden Goose. It's be introduced. Ideally in person or over Zoom or a three-way phone call, in that order. But ideally it's not a mixed text. It probably won't go anywhere. In person, you could walk out with a listing. You know what, Jimmie? I actually got one right now. I'm not saying I don't have a listing agreement with me, but they might say to you, which I've done plenty of times, builders, it's the Golden Goose. I get loan officers to introduce me to a builder. Of course, he's got spec homes. You know, they built already, they haven't sold. They're trying on their own, or they fired their agents and what have you. It's always about getting introduced. But I walked out of Commerce Bank after my first meeting with a listing. Oh, Bryan, I got one for you right now. Because I had the guitar player there with me who taught my son guitar and taught her guitar. He was my introducers are everywhere. Acres of diamonds are all around us. So the let me say something here. Janice, PJ is in the waiting room, and I don't have a 12:15 meeting. So if you could maybe
Yes,
look at
Bryan.
my roster. So anyways,
Mhm.
Jimmie, as we summarize, what strategy do you do when you meet with the judge?
Yes.
And the person you're gonna do a sit down with. Okay. Because you have to have a set of questions for the probate attorney. You're not there to answer questions. You're there to ask questions. You're not there to walk out with a listing. If you're blessed with one, because they were like, and I got one right now for you. Or I got a property you do an analysis on for me, that would be great. So it's interesting about interviews. It's not what you're going to be asked, it's what you're going to ask. The Golden Goose. Because one of the questions you're going to ask is, who would you want to be introduced to if you're a probate attorney?
Well, if we can back up for a second, what is my conversation with the judge?
The judge. Okay, so the introducer.
He introduced him. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm going to share my screen just briefly here, and I'm going to take you into the Golden Goose Academy, and so I'm going to show you how to do something here. I'm also going to pause our call here for 1 second. So the question is, what do you say to the judge who is your introducer?
Yes.
We have a book here called The Script. And when you click on this, it's going to kind of go over here about vendors, what have you. But down here is connecting with the introducer. All right, how to have a sit-down meeting with her. And we've got a video for you to watch. It'll tell you, he's out of Washington, D.C. What did he do when he had his first meeting with the judge or estate liquidator? It's the same thing. It's a series of questions. And we have a printout for you to take with you right here. Your questions to ask the judge. Okay. And I taught my son when he was little, I said, you probably can't get into trouble if you ask questions. If you make statements. Am I right?
That's totally true.
Yeah. It's questions. The answer is in the question. The answer is always, it's in the question. Are we asking ourselves the right question? Which is what you're doing right now. These are great questions you're asking. Now you're meeting with the judge. I'm going to make a note. I'm going to send you some questions that might be for a judge. This is a generic PDF. Nobody's ever said to me, I meet with a judge who's introducing the North and the South, probate, blah, 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 whatever you said. Okay. In addition, I've got a question for you. If we could put a book together like this for Los Angeles, but we had your picture here, and it says Los Angeles. We can give this to you, a book, where you're in the inside, and it says that you're looking for probate, divorce, and retirement homes. And we can put together AI video with you speaking.
We are an action and results-oriented group, with each member.
This is an agent we have out of Dallas. And we just gave him a script. And then as you look at vendors you meet with,
At a local cafe. My goal is to meet you face to face to find out your ideal client and the best way to introduce you. Plus, I would love to learn more.
So we're looking at this idea to say either Jimmie puts a video here. This is what we call a videogram, where instead of giving your business card, give a talk to people. Otherwise just send an email with some words in it, or talk to them.
Our next step.
Now, this is the first time you've seen this. What do you think of the idea of a videogram where, again, you're on the cover, we got Los Angeles in the background, what have you? So Jimmie, what do you think of the idea?
I would absolutely do that.
Okay. So what's part of your meeting with the Bulldog, Merlin? I mean, she's on this call right now, but you'll have a separate one later. She wants to gather some information, a little bit information about you, because we do have to capture your voice, because this is really his voice.
During productive referral-based accounts in shared niches.
In any case, we'll put something together. The thing is, you could also give this to your probate attorneys. Before they get to meet you, they get to meet you.
I got it.
Versus,
I love it.
Yeah, just an email with your name and your picture on it, versus we want people to go, who is this guy? We don't want you looking like a realtor. So let me wrap up that IAP part. Your identity. You are a relationship rainmaker. Your assignment is to activate introducers to accounts. And your judge is in the role of introducer. The probate attorney is the influential advisor who can make a difference, who gets those listings. She can introduce you, but you got to perform. When you do your sit down with the attorney prior to the meeting, we have a different book for you. This is about the Business Development Coalition in Los Angeles that exists now because you're here, right? We're creating this whole thing. And so we're trying to do this across the country with agents in different markets, just saying the Business Coalition of Tampa or Chicago or Lake Zurich or wherever it is. There's a book for your introducers. Then there's a book for your Golden Goose before you go to the meeting, where you're like, I'm looking forward to meeting you. I want to find out some things about your business because I'm an expansion specialist. I help people expand their business and solve problems. That's a different pitch than this one is. Then lastly, it can act as a pre-listing packet to send to a seller, a different cover, and the message is different about the marketplace or something like that. And it's kind of a pre-interview. Whether an agent wants to do their own video, but we could do it, make it look pretty cool. Would you want your videos like this, where we have you in a really cool place in Los Angeles, a good backdrop, Or would you rather go to a place and shoot a video yourself?
No, this is fine. I love this. It's a lot of beautiful backdrops of Los Angeles, so that'd be great.
Right. Well, again, we're trying to elevate you, all the agents, to appear more like a sales executive, an account executive than a realtor. Because most real estate stuff is, can I have a lead? Can I have a lead? Can I have a lead? First, it's better
I
to give.
noticed it was 38 seconds. I remember one of the calls I was on with you was 38 to 46 seconds is the sweet spot.
Yeah, where you have a short message to give, and at the very end, watch how this ends.
Because I have a gap in my network for someone with your professional expertise. Probate, divorce, and seniors downsizing to retirement homes are our selected niches.
So we branded the realtor. And the goal is of this whole thing is GP, as she's getting accounts in Dallas or you in Los Angeles, is if you have the account for at least 3 years, you've proven if you got 7 deals a year from an attorney, that means you did 21 deals. If you made 10 grand a piece, you made 210 grand from one source. So you take 210,000 times 1.7, and that's your business valuation. Just like you're running a dry cleaner or a restaurant. Their multiples are like 3. The multiple when you're selling a real estate brand is about 1.7. So if you made $1 million, it's $1 million times 1.7 is your business valuation, provided it's from accounts, not friends and family, because there's no value in those. You got to find those single sources. So what we want to do is equip you for your meeting with the judge. And when the judge physically takes you to the probate attorney sit down, what are you going to ask? And it's not what are you going to say. What are you going to ask? So I'm taking notes here because part of what we do is we listen to somebody who has a unique idea and how do we help you customize it? It's just not one size fits all. Because if you said you're meeting with an HR director of a Fortune 500 company, this conversation would be a little bit different because the research is different when you're meeting with the HR director. You're going to see in the book or training guide, when you find out who the probate attorney is, you got to look them up. There's 3 things you're looking for. Their LinkedIn, find out if they have any business partners. I've shown up at meetings before where there were 3 people in the meeting. I had no idea they was going to have more people in the meeting. So I started looking at their LinkedIn and the website. Is this a partnership with 30 guys? Who's going to be on this call? Who's going to physically be there, whatever it is. So LinkedIn, their website, and their personal tax record. You want to see if the guy lives in an $8 million house or 180 condo. You want to know something about the individual you're meeting with. In the tax record, it'll show you if they're divorced. Because most tax records, if it shows quit claimed the property they're living in, they got divorced. And it was Bob and Sally, and now it's just Bob or Sally. It'll show this way you know something about the people you're meeting with. Plus, if the valuation puts them at 8 million or 80,000, the meeting might be a little different. But we want to find out who they want to be introduced to. And that's really why you're there. Is I'm an expansion specialist. I help other people get introduced. People sometimes call me Jimmie, the relationship rainmaker. I make introductions just like my friend Judge is doing right here. Now, I happen to hold a real estate license. And we work with hedge funds because you're on our team, Jimmie, and we work with hedge funds. You may not personally work with hedge funds, but we as collective. third-party relocation companies. We work with retirement homes, probate attorneys, divorce attorneys. When somebody needs to sell a financial asset called a home, that's what I do, says Jimmie. I help people make financial decisions when it comes time to sell the asset called a home. That's a lot different than going, I'm a realtor.
It's a much different conversation.
I help people make financial decisions. And we work with hedge funds, relocation companies, probate, divorce attorneys, retirement homes. Whenever there's a financial decision made and there's an asset called home or investment property, that's what I'm here for. I help people do that. So now there's a little bit more to it than that.
Yeah.
We got to reframe your identity to the Golden Goose. Most people is, my identity is I'm a realtor. I already know 12. But I don't know what you said, Jimmie, the way you put it. I've never heard that. You know, I got a listing right now I can give to you. Because they have them to give. There's a possibility, depending upon their personality and how you deliver it, you could walk out with an asset they want you to evaluate. A good question to ask is also of the attorney. Do you have listings out there right now that you've already assigned to realtors? And any of them that aren't selling? And he goes, oh, you know what? Good question. I have one, it's like 300 days on the market, and the family keeps calling me, they're sick of the realtor. Well, I could do an analysis on the asset and get it to you. You know, I'm not looking to take the listing, but I'm happy to do an analysis on an asset you can't get sold because I study velocity in the marketplace. My strength is really understanding market velocity for real estate property. In fact, do you have any investment properties, Bob? I can give you a velocity report to tell you what the direction of the market's going. Is it appreciating at 4% or appreciating at 1%? We don't sound like realtors. And day one, Jimmie, I mean, because you've been licensed for 4 years, but you're really getting started. We can really get your language to make it. Nobody will know you're new because you won't sound it. What are your thoughts on some of this stuff?
I'm completely locked in. I'm following your lead. I'm 100% coachable.
I love that. You know, when we're bringing people in, I usually have criteria is people got to be coachable, they got to be hungry. If they're not hungry, that means they'll give up. And if they don't have a purpose, which is really the IAP, it's a promise to somebody that I'm going to build a business that I could sell. I'm not a regular realtor, says Jimmie. There's somebody in my life that I love. I'm going to promise I'm going to sell this thing for $500,000 in 84 months. You don't have to leave the business, but as we talked about before, we do have to sell this business. I'm going to wrap it up with this here, and that is Project 84. I think I covered this with you the other day, but I just want to share the screen here. And that is the business valuation. If you're in Los Angeles and your average commission is 18 grand, and you have 7 referral partners, 7 probate, and you're closing 4 a month, if you're making 18, you made about 880 a year, but your multiple is 1.7. It's not worth 880, it's worth 1.5. And the question is, what are you going to sell your business for? So this judge is introducing you to 2 probate attorneys, or I don't know how many, but you generally get 7. You get 7 deals per 7 to 10 per year pretty safely. If you got a really good referral source, PDR, probate, divorce, or retirement home, about 7 to 10 deals a year from a single account. Because your friends and family you do business with doesn't that any value at all is added to your business valuation, zero. Because you can't transfer those, but you can transfer accounts. Like if you own 7 dry cleaners, you could transfer those to somebody else. If you were an insurance agent, you have 1,000 clients, you could transfer the whole book of business. We're just trying to build a book of business with PDR or Fortune 500 companies or CPAs or what have you. So thanks for letting me jump around a little bit here because I want to.
No, I'm excited about working with you, Bryan. From the first moment that I had an opportunity to be on one of your Zooms, I immediately thought that I could learn from you. I can work with you, and it's gracious to be able to be, at that level and still get on Zooms one-on-one with people and talk to them. That emulates that you still have that hunger too, but you are also open to spreading it out and building it. And that's who I am. Even as a pastor, I want to make sure that I'm doing as much as I can, and I'm constantly thinking about how I can expand what I just learned. Even while we were talking, I'm thinking about a seminar that I can do at my church to get everybody in a room and invite the judge, because she is so enamored with wills and trusts and probate that she spends a lot of her philanthropy hours. She spends that by going back into the community that she grew up in, teaching people the things that she's learned. She's been to DC, she's been to all different places, and now being a judge, she has a wealth of knowledge. She wants to make sure that she's giving back. And when I mentioned to her, hey, what do you think about taking what you love to do in the community and bringing it to the church to have a wealth seminar? She said, I love it. So now I'm thinking, how can I take what you and I just talked about, even the book and all the different things, and bring that into a little bit of a gumbo and make it a seminar? Because my church is hungry for that. My community is hungry for this type of stuff. This is great information. My church is 90% senior citizen. So this is something that's necessary.
You mentioned wealth services. We had so much stuff going on in St. Louis. We created the Center for Financial Education for the state of Missouri. And I just heard you say that about you and the judge creating a wealth services program for the congregation because people need education.
And this idea came from Kimberly. She said, why don't we do a seminar together? I said, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, we would have to circle back on that on a separate thing. But
yeah, definitely.
I've done what you're talking about, and we named it the Center for Financial Education for the state of Missouri. We created a nonprofit, and I was then adjunct instructor at the University of Missouri for 2 years. Had a financial planner, an attorney, a loan officer, and me. Those were our first 4 people in our local network. But then we started adding all kinds of other vendors into our network. But it is where you're going with this. I've been on this road, wealth services programs to teach people. And the reason we had a LO, loan officer, is because of strategies on different kind of financing for seniors. And then, of course, we had an attorney for wills and trust. And then we had a financial planner with Primerica, which, Primerica is not John Hancock or Edward Jones. They are what they are, right? A lot of part-time, what have you. But my friend Jeff, who now is over in London, who's got Genistar Financial, which is the London version of Primerica. He recruited 27,000 financial planners in his company. And he would start from scratch. But he and I, Jeff and I, were the co-leaders of Center for Financial Education. You could do a lot with a name. Nonprofit, you can get indoors, you couldn't get in before. You know, we were teaching at MasterCard, Southwestern Bell, when Bell did a huge move to Texas out of St. Louis.
Oh, Western Bell. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah. Because we had CFE, and we had somebody who worked at Bell, they were moving 300 people to Texas. I got a speaking gig. How to buy a home. Here's a tough title. How to buy a home in your destination city, assuming you can't trust your realtor. Yeah. And then I had a laminated card with all the tips on how to study a marketplace. And I got 21 listings out of that.
Wow.
One
So
speech.
top 4 people: a financial planner, an attorney. What else?
A loan officer, and a realtor, an attorney. Yeah, those 4. Those were kind of like B&I. You need 4 people in your B&I. One's a realtor, one's a mortgage guy, one's an insurance agent, and I can't think what the 4th one is. But you can't start a B&I, Business Networking Inc., without those 4. But there's like 40 different titles you want to have in there in your B&I group. It's networking for leads. B&I, this is networking for accounts, is what these small groups are that I'm working with agents to, like you, to create this network of what? People looking for leads? No, people looking for accounts. It solves a lot of problems if you have an account. Literally, you went from 0 to 15 deals in a year. And you're going, if you're making 10 grand a deal, you made 150 grand because it was referred to you. Everybody wants referral business. And better yet, refer to people that have to sell. There's so much business of people that want to sell. I want have to sell. The days of the market are shorter, the price is better, the building inspection is handled without fighting as much if the seller has to sell. The seller wants to sell. I'm not putting a new roof on. Kill the deal. I'm not moving. Has to sell. Puts a new roof on. Or whatever. I don't have a structural problem. I'm not going to sell the house. Well, you do have a structural problem. It means you have to sell. You're going to solve it. So you really want to build your portfolio on generally on have to, not want to. So anything else? I've got some notes that I need to do for you. Anything else today that's
No, that's plenty. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to us continuing this conversation and building this out.
Yeah, we'll cross this bridge with the judge, get you introduced to these probate attorneys, and then start looking at the wealth services seminar. And it's different to do that because you don't know if anybody in the audience is looking to buy or sell right now. Probate, they're all looking to sell. Seminars, there maybe nobody looking to sell. It's just a way to build relationships. But there could be a golden goose in the audience. And I've done enough speaking events where sometimes the golden goose will come up to you at the break and say, can we do a sit down? There may not be a buy-sell in there, but there could be, like I said, a CPA or a financial planner, somebody who works in a social worker, somebody that's an estate liquidator in your audience. This is, again, sift your CRM. It probably has acres of diamonds in it already, which is what you did. You found a judge. We talked the other day, didn't come to mind. You started sifting your CRM. And then you do an event, you're gonna find introducers and golden geese in your audience. Most people looking for a deal. Not looking for we'd like a deal, that'd be great. We want introductions to accounts. And if you have a good first 2 years of getting accounts, you don't have to do anything else. Just take care of your accounts.
I'm looking to do.
All right, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna jump on with Merlin.
All right, see ya.
Okay.